So my actual project is what I told you before. It's the Holons, huh? The healing Holons, and based on the idea that there is a fundamental spiritual trinity in the universe. Okay? And Eliya understands very well. We spoke a lot about that, and she liked the concept because you see, this trinity is in old Kabbalistic ideas, also in Vedic ideas, but also in the human embryology, where when the cell is fertilized, you have immediately splitting. And in every cell, there are three layers. Three layers, the mesoderm in the middle, the endoderm and the ectoderm. So, and then these split again, make all different movements. I think clavation it's called. So from that, some layers become the skin, other becomes the eyes, other becomes the spine. So every human started with three layers. So, and then we see this was ancient knowledge from the Kabbalah, where they say that there is the tree of life, it's called, and then above that tree of life, on the top there is Keter, the king of the crown, and above that are three layers. And this is An Sof, and An Sof Hour. So the Trinity is a concept that is already 1,000 years old, maybe much older. So the human contains this, let's say, the basic structure of the Trinity in himself, in the human. And that's what I found that night when I was looking to the stars and to the trees. And so this I worked out, and I did that in 2002. And I put a website on it. So Cash, when I met him in 2005, can never say, hey, I was the original creator of that Trinity, what he presents now, what Dirk presents now. No, I was 3 years before I met him. So, and this Trinity, I explained it, with that Trinity, when you have it in your house, like a mini stupa, a mini temple, it creates the conditions, structural conditions to heal you, to bring harmony in your life, to bring harmony in people, in kids, in husbands. And then it will help you to heal also your own body, because that Trinity is already in your structure. So there is a correspondence between them. And you, Robin, like a Reiki healer, you know how the effect is when your aura comes in touch with the inside unbalances, it will balance the energies again. And Eliya knows it when she does acupuncture, what the chi channels mean in the healing. So, and like our previous interview, I explained you how you can build such a unity, a holon structure in your own homes. Fantastic, huh?
Yeah. I have to show mine here. It's. I just want to show because I immediately did this after we got off from Dirk, and I was encouraged because, and I wanted it to look pretty too, but as you describe, I will take it apart. I had a shell, this little shell dish, and I was inspired to use this, and you can give the idea behind it because you would know, Dirk. But to me, I dealt with the water, Kuan Yin, and the energy of Kuan Yin, and the water being the foundation, the base, the nurturer for what I was building. And then I had a little piece of topaz, imperial topaz, and that's a foundation stone for me. So I put it there on your plate, like you talked about. I guess you can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I got this little glass, and the gold rim was significant to me. So the gold, the ormus, you know, that helping to heal the DNA, the third DNA strand. So that went over it. And then for me, the pink glass. This is the first. So that holon is what? Holon is this layer is what? God.
Yeah, God the Father.
That's the first one. And then so the pink one, I chose this pink glass there again because for the heart chakra, Eliya, as you were talking about the idea of the chakra system, and for the healing, the rose, the healing of that, and then this little dome fit perfectly. I couldn't believe it. It fit perfectly over my whole little structure. And so I was like, yay. And then you sent me the disc with all the elements on it. It's at the printer now because I wanted to get a nice, good color printing. And I'm going to put that under the bottom as you have explained. So, and I've kept this, and I'm going to tell you, in the last week in my bedroom, I can definitely feel just in my sleep time and when I sit there sometimes to read and do my work, it really has had a calming effect. And I've sensed that energetically. And also, I just want to throw this out and let you keep on talking, Dirk, but when you were talking about the embryo just now, it reminded me of the drawing that you have of the circle and how we start off as this single cell, as you were just talking about the stages of the embryo, the meso and intro and the exto embryo, the 3 layers of it. Well, it starts off as a circle, right? And then that whole diagram that you have where the holon kind of inserts itself through because it can't tear because it doesn't destroy itself, as you say. So it sticks out and it starts merging out. Well, isn't that how an embryo forms? It starts as a circle and then it starts poking out to the bottom and creates that same kind of holon example from its actual circle. So I saw that visually, and just wanted to have you speak to maybe that as an idea. I don't know.
No, that's absolutely correct, Robin. Because between the layers, let's say, as at certain moments you have coming out something and going back inside, pushing a creation, let's say, dividing a certain structure. And this is called in embryology invagination. So it comes back invagination. So it's like the holon structure, let's say what I call the pelastration. It's a pushing, it's not a real penetration, it's pushing away. So it's not destroying. And about embryology, I can tell you much more than I, but it's a fantastic. This is the real creation. What is happening, the energy that pushes away, and in fact, my concept gives an solution for an important misunderstanding in mystics. In the mystic world, there is always, let's say, the problem that why a male has a female character and a female has a male element. So let's say kind of dichotomy. Now, in the image, how the membrane fertilizes itself, the two different parts of the fertilizes itself, it shows that there is the unity. And just by the position of one of those peaks, let's say, that come out and is penetrated by the other one, is the both, in fact, both are the same force, but by the positioning from one becomes yin, submissive, and the other one is the creator of the shape, let's say. It's like giving force, the force that makes the outer shape. It's like the bone of a person. The bone keeps the bone system, the spine, keeps the person straight, because it gives the shapes, finally the shape. And this is you see it back here. Now, we talked a little bit before, and Susan asked me that you received some questions about what I showed you before. This is this image that I created, 65 different materials like herbs, like symbols are inside, but also the antioxidants are inside in shapes. So, and I sent you, Robin and Susan, I sent you a PDF file with different sizes of this. And Susan asked me, so before we started here officially, some people ask, this image, do I put it under the smallest glass or above on top? No, this is the sender. Every of those images is a holon itself. So this means when you see here a crystal, for example, a crystal shape, that this crystal itself, the image, contains the vibration of also the Trinity. But this crystal, its source is inside of the spirit. So, in fact, what you put here is 65 different, let's say, elements that have their base in the Trinity source. So this is the sender. This is the energy sender, and through the holon set, it's spread in different type of vibrations given by the 3 layers of the holon set, and then it vibrates all over the place. And then on top you put the receiver. Like I told you before, if I want to send energy to my mother because she's in the hospital, I put the photograph on the DVD or on the CD, because then those vibrations are also emanated, sent out through the ether to my mother. And my mother receives them also because she's also a holon with a 3-layer structure in her. So I think now this is...
Let me ask you a question. 2 quick points. One question, one a point. So based on the last video, in case questions come from the viewers, the reason why the CD, if I remember, is because it's symbolic of the spectrum. The spectrum that is actually where all this information is sent on through the spectrum, the color spectrum, right?
Yeah. Let's say the holon set itself, when you put it on the top of the glass, the holon set itself vibrates. But it's interesting that this vibration is also translated in light.
Right.
Because the vibrations here are on a certain very fine frequency, but by putting it like this, you force it also to express themselves in light.
Gotcha. And so now the person, in order to send this, and I probably missed this, I missed this the last time, in order for a person to receive whatever you're sending them, they have to have an all holon set, or suppose they don't have one, then it doesn't pick up the vibration, or not?
Yeah. My mother in the hospital, she's a holon herself. She has that Trinity structure. So what Susan said before is that my mother at that moment will take out those vibrations of those products that she needs.
Right. Okay.
So if she don't need the energy from this crystal, she will not take it because she don't need it. She has enough. And this is a little bit also like homeopathy. Homeopathy works.
Right. Exactly.
You take out these vibrations that you need. In homeopathy, I prefer to do the composite medicine. So let's say I would prefer, if I would be a medical doctor in homeopathy, I would say I make like the Kent method of Kent. He says we put let's say 20, 30 different items together, we shake them, and then you take them and you will take out what you need. So that would be my idea. But against Kent, there are always other people who say, no, we have to fine-tune the personal vibration, what that person needs. So, what do you think, Eliya? Is this correct?
I just listen to you and make drawings because I'm able to explain through pictures, and here I cannot show pictures, so I draw. So what actually Dirk wants to say is this. Can you see? Visible or not? So this is the embryo of brain. This is the different part of embryo, embryology of brain. The second one is the encephalon. So this is the holon itself. That's why in Buddhistic religion they have 5, because this is 5 parts of the brain. So Dirk make 3. He cover just upper part of this picture and lose the peripheral. What's the peripheral nervous system? So it's not right to be 5. You may cover this if you use like a base crystal, but this is the base, this is head. So from embryo, it is folded. Beginning, this part is there. Then here is neck. This is exactly place of thalamus. Thalamus, this is the Feng Fu point. You know, is there on the head. Feng Fu point, where even if you put the eyes, you cover so many diseases. This is because the embryo is folded. This is the neck, eyes, mouth, and here is the thalamus, end of the head, this point. So this is the main brain. When they become a main brain, then this is the...
Can you hold it up and just slightly to your right? Because these pictures at the bottom are, yeah, that's good. Just, there you go. Thanks.
Okay. So I was trying how to do. Okay, so then this is the main brain, become the main brain. Here thalamus, this is the diencephalon, and then the bones, and then the spinal cord down. You understand? So embryo, this is the holon in holon itself. If you see the side of Dirk, he made a spiral and a pyramid with numbers 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. Why? Because when you start something, you start from oneness, even in religion. God is oneness. Oneness is something what explain everything. It's no limit. This is membrane, you know, everything in this. And for example, this is the membrane. This is the first dimension. How you make the second dimension? You just fold it. You understand? So from 0, it's become 2. What is in the binary code is 1. You understand? And then you do again, and you make all the dimensions inside of one. You don't break anything. You see, you open the membrane. It's not breakable. Do you understand? That's why he called the penetration, because you don't break, you don't cut, you just fold, you know, and make a fourth shape. That's why even now scientists discover that all the dimensions, they're in you. They are not above, because you fold. So the main figure, if for our planet is Merkaba, how we spoke, or other is inside triangles, squares, you know, sphere, is inside of this figure. So all the dimensions, they are in us. That's why in India and Hindu and Buddhist, they speak, if you want to find something, ask inside of you. Change you, and then everything will change. Because the dimensions, they are not outside. Even I like one video, I just forgot the name of the physicist, he's so famous, about the black hole and the wallet. How the black hole actually is the second dimension, and when the wallet go inside of the black hole, it becomes third dimension outside, because of so many holographic pictures where they make around. So you may see the wallet like, you know, so many wallets are actually inside each one. So they speak even that we live in holographic universe, and we are just two-dimensional, and everything what we see, because we are inside, everything what we see, you see around us, and we think that all the dimension is out of us. But actually, if you follow this logic, they're in you. Understand? So, and then this is the golden ratio. Can you see? So golden ratio is folding again from zero. Right? So the spirale is going on the same way. Just if you measure the angles, you go in positive Fibonacci or negative Fibonacci. It depends where you want to go, above or down. So this is the same like embryo. This is absolutely the same logic. That's why when you understand all these ancient things what they told you, you understand the body completely, because it's exactly the same. So when Dirk speak, even he has so good gift format picture in his side, it's in showing how the penetration go. And if you, I will send you this video, probably you never notice, but if you Google it, how the intestines work, it's work on the same way. How work the black hole, on the same way works in the digestive system. Digestive system is the black hole from south to north. This is your north, your mouth, and south is your arms. This is what black hole. So you put something, and another side it's going out. So, and next thing to what he wanted to say, this is again, you may see like this. So this is the oneness, one soup of everything. And in this oneness, you separate one part. You just make a separation, what you call in. Because you cannot analyze oneness, it's so big, you know. Or if you want to create something, you cannot create something from everything. You start to draw here, here, here. You understand? The nature makes the same thing. So from one oneness, he took one part and make a store. Just separate to operate just with this part in storage. And this in part take a action. What mean? In become yang. See, part of the in just going in action. This is one force, just take different behavior. And then when in goes to the action, need one, the fourth force what have to make equilibrium between yin and yang to not have a fight. you know. So how much is in, that much to be young. You understand? And that in Buddhism we call Tao. But if you follow the physics, in is the ether. This is something what you take like, you know, place in oneness to operate with it. It is, and we call gravity. This gravity take action and become magnetic. You understand? And then because magnetism and gravity, this is the same thing, they're equal, and we call the electricity. Do you understand?
So yes, now just go
this
back
is absolutely the same things. So actually with the Dirk theory, you may explain many things to understand if you follow the logic.
So that makes sense.
True. Understand?
So you're saying that the ether energetic is transfers between that and the magnetism. So we're talking about we were talking about gravity and magnetism are like yin and yang kind of concept in terms of energetically.
But they're one thing.
But it's still one thing. It's because it comes from the oneness.
Okay, let's come in other side. This is Tao. Okay, this is something what is harmonic. In this side, you need to feed. You eat, no? In anus, you go out. But this is one digestive system. Here, through the stomach, you collect. This is the in, collection. And then your intestines go action. This is magnetic. Because you have to go out. But this is one digestive system. You understand? So
I love that. Now that's a good analogy. Yeah.
The membrane is not breakable. Just change the function. It's one thing, changing the function.
Right.
Understand?
Yep.
And make and because of motion, it's make different shapes.
So now, how is that's great, and I love the pictures because pictures, like they say, are worth 1,000 words. I'm sure that helps a lot of us understand what you're saying. So now, how is this technology being worked into some of the devices that you guys are creating that people will be able to purchase and use at home or whatever eventually?
So yesterday come out the article. So they discover how the brain working in electromagnetic wave. They measure with EEG and the magnetometer of the brain daily through the axons, dendrites, and all the transmission will go through the synapses. So now it's officially proven that the brain working in a magnetic frequency range, and people can communicate naturally between each other, doesn't matter of distance, in magnetic range. What we know, like telecommunication, no? But now, finally, official science make an article. So I will send you, and there is so nicely, scientifically explained how it's anatomical point, where it is, how they use the electrodes, how they are detected. Do you understand? So it's natural and more metaphysical. Before that sound, the theory of M particles. What's the magnetic particles inside of your neurons? So in nature have two laws. One is similar attract similar. It means if one subject have one frequency range and this and what we use and this one have the same, they attract. If they are so different, they cannot recognize that they exist. They're invisible for each other. Do you understand? So if you have the thoughts in frequency range of the heart chakra, what you say. So the thoughts for heart chakra is above 528 hertz, what they call the hertz of love. So if your thoughts appear on that frequency range, and other person, his energy system is established on that range, you communicate. If you vibrate on specific frequency like 600 hertz, what we call the Christ consciousness. But Christ consciousness is mean frequency range is nothing with religion.
Right.
It's frequency range of love. So if you vibrate on that frequency, you attract the situations which match to that frequency, people which match to that frequency, and you connect with everyone and everything which is vibrate to that frequency. You cannot go to 300 or to 1000.
Right.